Welcome to Physics 1500, otherwise known as Tools for Physicists. My name is Dr. Hood and I'll be your instructor this fall. I wanted to make a quick short video to tell you a little bit about myself, and we'll learn more about the class on the first day. I grew up outside of Houston, Texas, in an area known as Clear Lake. I lived right near the Johnson Space Center, NASA's Johnson Space Center. That's where all of the astronauts work when they're not on an active mission in space. This is an image of one of the space shuttles being flown over the Johnson Space Center. This was when they were retiring the space shuttles. They did flybys to a lot of important areas, including here in Southern California, in LA. So all the buildings you see there are part of the Johnson Space Center. And then the water you can see in the background in this picture on the upper left is one of the nearby lakes and bayous. So I lived over in that general direction. So I spent most of my childhood there, elementary, middle, and then when I was in 8th grade, my parents took me and my sisters aside and said that we were going on a vacation to Hawaii, which was super exciting. We had never done a family vacation like that before. And then immediately after that, they told us we were moving to Virginia. So in between 8th grade and 9th grade, I moved to Virginia. My parents worked at the University of Virginia, which you can see pictured in the picture on the lower left-hand corner of the screen. So that's a picture of the Rotunda, one of the main buildings of the University of Virginia. So the University of Virginia was started and designed by Thomas Jefferson, our third president, and that Rotunda is one of his designs specifically, and so that statue out front is a statue of him. So I went to high school in Charlottesville, Virginia. And then when it came time to apply for colleges, I did not want to go to the University of Virginia, although it's an excellent institution. I didn't want to be anywhere near my family anymore. So I went to the other large state school in the state of Virginia, which is Virginia Tech. So I very much love college football. I'm a big Hokies fan. That's our mascot. And so I majored in physics there. It was a great place. Physics was small, very much like our department that we have here, but in a much larger university. So I could have my sort of nice homey community within physics, but still branch out and meet lots of new people every day if I wanted to. So that was really what I was looking for at that time. I knew that I liked astronomy, but I wasn't really sure that much about it because I didn't have a whole lot of exposure to it. And when it was coming close to graduation, I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do next. And I decided I would apply to graduate school. Part of that is because I still wanted to learn more, but part of it is that I was also a little terrified of getting a real job. So for whatever reason, I decided to apply to graduate school, and I was focusing on astronomy because that was what really spoke to me at that point in time. So I applied to a number of different schools, including all of the University of California campuses. The University of California is one of the main owners of the two largest optical telescopes in the world, the Keck telescopes. Those are located on the Big Island in Hawaii. And so I knew that if I went to a University of California graduate school, I would have access to those telescopes. Ironically, I never ended up using them for any of my research, but I did force my advisor to take me there before I graduated. So I was accepted and attended University of California, Irvine. So this is what brought me to California, and so I lived in Orange County for a number of years while I was in graduate school. While there, I met my husband, or my soon-to-be future husband, Mike Hood, who you can see pictured in the picture in the upper right-hand corner, along with our two dogs. So those dogs were actually Virginia dogs. I got them in college. They moved out to California with me. Molly is the taller spotted beagle mix. She passed last year. And Nikki is the furrier lion mane looking terrier. She's still with me. She is nearing 18 years old, so she is quite old. But those are my first babies, my fur babies. While I was in graduate school, my husband and I got married, and we got pregnant with our first child, Elliot, who you can see is the older and taller one in the picture in the lower right-hand corner. So I had him about a month after I defended my dissertation. So by the time commencement actually came about and I got to walk and be hooded and do all of the exciting formalities of graduating, he had already been born. And then After having him, I taught at community college for a little bit. After getting my PhD, I took a job as a full-time faculty member at Augusta State University in Augusta, Georgia. So for women, especially in science and physics as well, it's very common to meet your partner, whether that's male, female, non-binary. It's very common for women to meet their partners within their own field or in relation to work. And so what this means is it creates what we now call the two-body problem, where you essentially have two people with similar careers trying to find jobs in the same place. So this is what we had. We had a two-body problem because my husband is also an astronomer. At that point in time, he had already taken a job at Mount San Antonio College, a community college in Walnut, right next to Cal Poly Pomona, and he was very happy there. And so we were looking for jobs to meet both of our needs. I knew that I wanted to be at a 4-year institution, not a big University of California research institution, but more of an undergrad-oriented institution, which is how I ended up at CSUSB eventually. So I took my job at Augusta State. I loved it there, but my husband stayed here in Southern California. So Elliot and I, as a newborn, moved to Georgia for a year, and the agreement my husband and I made was that we would do this just for a year. And if we couldn't find something together, either him finding something near me in Georgia or me finding something back in Southern California, or both of us finding new jobs together somewhere else, somewhere across the country, that he would actually quit his job and move out to where I was, because it's easier to find a community college job than it is to find a 4-year university job. And in general, it's easier for white men to find jobs than it is for white females to find jobs. So he was willing to prioritize my career at that point, which I very much appreciated. But luckily, I applied for jobs again and got the job at CSUSB, which is where I have been now for many years. After arriving at CSUSB within a year or so, I had Andrew, our second son. So Elliot is in 4th grade this year. Andrew is in 1st grade, and we're doing the whole distance learning thing. I love it here at CSUSB. I couldn't be happier. My husband never had to quit his job, so he's still at the institution he loves. And I love meeting our new students and getting to know you all and helping provide you with the information that you need in order to navigate what your future career plans will be. So this will be a part of what we'll do in this class, actually, is to start thinking about some of that stuff. And it may seem a little early, and in no way are we asking you to make any decisions right now. We just want to give you the information that you need in order to start thinking about those decisions and planning for your future. So I look forward to meeting all of you very, very soon, and we'll talk more about the class specifics on our first day of class.